Anyway, now Tabitha's somewhere, and she's supposedly being interrogated by the FBI, which is strange because based on how the previous scene ended, you'd think that she would have died or something. I guess maybe the clown just laughed and went home? Haha, that was really funny. I'm bored. Bye. I'm not even kidding. The scene just transitions from the killer laughing into the FBI jacket. Anyway, now she's being interrogated, and when I say that, I don't mean she's being questioned, because they are really fucking grilling her with this shit.
Miss Wright, do you know anybody who would want to hurt you? Miss Wright, this whole thing is gonna work out a lot smoother if you just cooperate with us, okay?
Yeah, great job. Wait half a second and leave. Okay. Well, it seems as though whatever this guy did managed to do the trick because now she starts remembering something. What kind of a face is that? Aww, tee. It's almost as if her experiencing this memory is completely unrelated to him asking who would want to hurt her. Like she somehow got more bored than the audience and was like, haha, I remember this funny day. Anyway, it shows her and her friends as kids, and I guess they all made some dumb art things for school. So the little boy looks at each of theirs and trash talks them one by one.
Shelby, yours is worse than Tabitha's.
Now let us see yours.
Okay, one at a time and I have to hold it.
Isn't the one at a time part a little redundant? How exactly could the three of them have looked through this single eye hole all at once?
Okay, you can look, but you have to do it one at a time, and I have to hold it.
It's my dick in a box. My dick in a box, babe. It's my dick in a box.
Funny, right?
No. It isn't.
Now, the way this scene plays out, I kind of thought this was actually happening. Like, sure, girls, take a look, but I have to hold it right next to my crotch. But it turns out that didn't happen, and instead there's just a live rodent that he's torturing. Why, I oughta. Anyway, they all leave and the little boy just hangs back and admires his work. Where's the light source? And then the scene just ends and we're back in the interrogation room. Yep, that's it. This entire elaborate series of murders is all because they didn't like his art presentation, which is strange because he seemed to be just fine. It really doesn't look like he gives too much of a shit. Did they tell on him? Did he have to fill out a form and tell his parents the bad thing he did? Whatever did happen seems to have affected him enough to the point where he remembered what each of their art projects were and meticulously incorporated them into his murder plots. So it's just a wild coincidence that Tabitha's aunt decorated their new home with a creepy clown room? Like if they didn't have that really weird and specific design preference, then dressing up as a clown wouldn't have worked. And yet it seems as though you dressed up like a clown because of her art project. So it just happened to work out? Great! Anyway, now this creepy lady shows up. Really?
Hello, Tabitha. I'm an on-site trauma counselor for the state, and I'd just like to ask you a few questions. All right?
If you're a trauma counselor, then why are you acting so needlessly intimidating?
Hello, Tabitha.
Is she part of some experimental reverse psychology department? When I first watched this, all I could think is that she sounds like an Australian trying to pull off an American Southern accent.
I realize you're in a serious state of shock, so we'll just go at your own pace, okay?
No idea if she was trying to put on any kind of accent at all, but it turns out she's Kiwian, so close enough, I guess.
Zoe's from New Zealand, and you never, I repeat, never call a Kiwi an Aussie.
Can you imagine what kind of direction she was getting for this scene? Exactly whose idea was it to play this character as though she's trying to scare Tabitha? Anyway, she asks Tabitha if she knows a Lisa Swan, at which point Tabitha decides she'd rather look into the shiny ashtray? Wow, what a great scene transition. Somebody give this man an Oscar. Hee 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 ha, makeup's fun, ha, hee hee hoo.
Stop it. Don't make me laugh when I'm applying. You're drunk, Miss Swan.
Yeah, and you're celibate. Take off the chastity belt and go home with him.
No, it's roommate night.
Yep, it turns out Lisa's trying to pressure her friend into going home with this ominous figure.
He just moved into town, and he's staying at the Pears Pension.
That dump by the park?
Yeah, but it's temporary. Be nice.
At least let him drive you home.
Do you, like, really hate your friend or something? Is he secretly the most charming man they've ever seen in their entire lives? Yeah, he lives in an abandoned building right now, but I don't know. He's pretty cute. I think I can trust him.
At least let him drive you home.
You're right. So I'll see you at home in 30, okay?
They try to pass it off as though it was all because Lisa wanted some alone time with her boyfriend.
You know I want it, but it's roommate night.
You had to live with the consummate good girl.
It seems like just a really forced and sloppy way to set up the plot for this chapter. Also, this entire scene's noticeably dubbed. If you're wearing headphones, you can hear the room echo from wherever they recorded in post.
Besides, he just moved into town, and he's staying at the Pair's pension.
That dump by the park?
Yeah, but it's temporary.
Anyway, Lisa goes home and her roommate is nowhere to be found. Supposedly, this is after the 30 minutes they said they'd meet here by, and instead of calling her to make sure she's alright, she immediately calls her boyfriend.
Hey, baby, it's me. Guess you got lucky.
Looks like she's getting laid, so now I can get laid. Yeah, boy. The next morning, she wakes up in Rutrow. Her friend still isn't home. Aw, look, they really are friends. Can I get a show of hands how many college students have framed photos like that of themselves and their roommate in their house? Who does that? Especially with a friend you apparently don't even give enough of a shit about to check in with after they don't show up at night. This being after you selfishly persuaded them to take a ride home from a random stranger just in case it led to you getting laid. But nah, the picture says they're best friends, come on. Hey look, more pictures showing just how great friends they are. And apparently 3 of them were taken sequentially in the same spot. Man, we both love that memory so much, we just wanted to see 3 of them all the time.
She never does this. She never goes home with a guy unless she's dated him for a month at least.
Well, whose fault is that?
I mean, we're talking about Kat. Come on, you know her.
Yeah, come on. I mean, the fact that she doesn't rush into relationships is literally the only discernible trait from her character.
I'm just gonna run over there real quick.
Over where?
The Pair's pension.
Come on, Lisa.
Did this movie forget phones exist? Why don't you try calling that place first? Nope, I'm gonna go there alone. Goodbye.
Hi, I was wondering if I could...
Sorry, all the beds are full.
But...
That's so weird. Man, what a weird guy. So now she's with her boyfriend, and apparently they've just been sitting there for 2 hours.
Don't you find it strange that for a full hotel we haven't seen one person come or go in over 2 hours?
Is it just me, or does her boyfriend look a lot like Oscar Isaac?
I mean, we're not even sure the cat went anywhere near that place.
Dan, she's my best friend. She doesn't do anything without telling me first.
Oh, really? Perhaps you should have considered that last night. She then asks her boyfriend to make something up to get inside. Apparently, he works for the health department and has a badge he can flash.
Babe, look at that place. I mean, can't you make something up just to get in there and see?
I like how it's already escalated to this, even though there was no communication between her and the business that she's actually looking for her friend. Should we ask if she's there? Nah, let's just do something illegal. So he gets inside and starts making shit up. But not once does he ask why he's wearing giant gloves and a surgical mask. Is that not something you should be inquiring about, especially considering you actually do work for the health department? Why does everything look like it hasn't been dusted in 70 years? So now he's waiting in the other room, and instead of doing anything that would help him find his girlfriend's missing friend, he just looks at this thing.
It's a metal scope Victrola.
Wow, cool.
Well, it plays a song, and at the end, you get a surprise.
Okay.
Hey, wow, cool. That song sounds almost exactly like the Harry Potter theme.
Entertainers and performers, you know, lovers of the laugh.
Well, that worked out oddly conveniently for you, didn't it? You didn't even have to tell him where to look. Well, yeah, when someone shows you a song and it gets towards the end, you stare into the phonograph horn. That's how they know you're being polite. So now apparently quite a lot of time has passed. I mean, it seems as though it's been 24 hours since you've seen your friend. Why don't you file a missing persons report with the police? There you go. That's what a human being would do. Oh, wait, scratch that. She's actually trying to call her boyfriend. Never mind.
Dan, why aren't you answering? It's me again.
So we have now established that you have a working cell phone that is getting a signal. You know, it seems as though even the most bottom-of-the-barrel horror movies offer some sort of explanation as to why the characters can't call the police. But this film doesn't even consider that an audience member might be questioning that. Fuck, even if you pretended like she didn't have a cell phone, that would have been believable. Your boyfriend is missing without explanation. Your best friend has been missing for an entire day, both of whom supposedly went into the same building on separate occasions and never returned. You don't think that maybe this might be an appropriate time to involve law enforcement? Or maybe, you know, at least try? It's only 3 numbers. It's not that hard. Nah, fuck this. I don't need no man. Are you blind? These bottles were at your eye level about 3 seconds ago. Oh no, I guess apparently he was just chilling with his ear pressed against the door. Better hide. Girl, I didn't know you could get down like that. Charlie, how your angels get down like that. So now she's running around in here as though she has any fucking plan at all. She comes across a room and finds this person. Anyway, she's like, hey, I need to find somebody, but this guy's like, sorry, I need green lips.
Okay, I need to find someone. Okay.
Wait a minute, if you're talking to a deaf person and they're just reading your lips, why don't you whisper, or better yet, not make any noise at all? I thought you were supposed to be concerned about the man you snuck past earlier. That same man who managed to hear that bottle shattering outside.
A girl came here last night. Did you see a girl?
You're literally just making noise for no reason at all.
Where is everyone?
Wilhelm followed by orchestral hit jump scare. Perfect. Now this is what I call a quality horror film. I can't see why anyone would perceive that as being unintentionally hilarious. Anyway, she asks him if he knows about an angry man, and he's like, he doesn't let us leave. At which point she runs towards the window and clumsily tries to open it, and he's like, no, you have to hide, he's coming real soon. Not sure how the deaf guy would know that, considering only she heard the Wilhelm scream. No time to think about that, I gotta hide right now. There's a crazy man that's been holding people hostage. Looks like I'm safe and well hidden for now. Oh yeah, I have a phone. Maybe I should call 911. Nope. Guys, you don't know how tough my boyfriend is. Like, calling the cops wouldn't really do anything compared to him. You have a working phone, your life is in danger, and you refuse to call law enforcement. Why even pull it out in the script? What purpose does it serve to remind people that she has this phone if she's not going to be doing the one thing that everybody who knows what a phone is would be doing in this situation? Did her pulling her cell phone out ever serve any real purpose in this story at all? It seems as though showing it to the audience has only ever made the film much, much worse. Oh no. Oh sweet, I found my friend, yay! I find it a little difficult to believe that you wouldn't have felt something, but okay. Oh no, it seems like whoever's running this joint has some sort of strange fetish where they need to sleep on beds that are filled with people? You get it? Because when she first came to the door, he was like, sorry, all our beds are full. Haha! Damn son, this movie's smart as shit. Literally. So now she's asking the deaf guy to help her as though he somehow wouldn't have been aware that there are people inside the beds. Oh no, if only I wasn't so intellectually sheltered, then I might know how a ratchet tie-down strap functions. There's clearly a mechanism to loosen this strap, but it's only tightening it. What am I gonna do?
Oh no, is that blood on his shoe?
Oh no, it's the killer man all along. Alright, so if it's a little bit confusing to figure out what the fuck happened, that is completely understandable. What the film is trying to communicate is that this is the same killer guy as all those other times, like even within this chapter. So even though she ran past him to get inside and immediately ran upstairs to find her friend, he somehow got there before her and managed to pull off the most impressive quick change for both costume and makeup that the world has ever seen. Not only did he apply professional quality wound prosthetics, but he even managed to shave. Perhaps his liberal arts degree really did pay off. Who was the Wilhelm and why did they scream? Also, can we just take a fucking minute to explain just how conveniently this worked out for him? The only reason that this whole plan worked is because you somehow knew that Lisa would try to convince her friend to go home with you, combined with her not being suspicious that her friend didn't communicate any of this to her, despite that apparently being the entire foundation for their friendship. This also wouldn't have worked if she had called the cops with her working phone at any point. You somehow knew that her boyfriend would show up and look directly into the phonograph horn, and even if you ignore all of that, you somehow knew that she would sneak into this place by herself. None of this would have worked if anybody just acted like a normal fucking human being. You based your entire plan around everyone involved making the most unrealistic decisions possible. Fuck, why are you even here? You should be playing roulette in Vegas. And this was all because some girls made fun of his school project. How do you make something so ridiculous? Well, no time to think about any of that because our third main character, Lisa, is in a bit of a pickle. But we're not gonna show how she gets caught. No, we're just gonna cut to this shot. She's in a bed now, I guess. So that's the end of that god-awful chapter, but we still have not yet witnessed the film's epic finale. So stay tuned for part 3 in a few weeks and we'll finally be done with this incredibly amusing monstrosity.
Yeah.